What's going on in crypto and the stock market? I'm going to show you in two ways. One form is with this yellow line right here, both in Bitcoin and the stock market. And the second way is I'm going to show you with the Bitcoin dominance chart. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Check this out right here. This yellow line is the daily 21. It is a fairly common occurrence given that in my, let's see, it was last week. I let you know if a certain horizontal is broken, then the daily 21 is your best friend. Yeah, it hit it. Did I anticipate it going through? No, I did not. I didn't think Bitcoin was going to have a 10% green day. However, it's still going to be your best friend. And this line right here is going to mean a little bit more on the stock market. So understanding this move, in my opinion, I can see it from the mixture of this yellow line being a signal or a target on the stock market, mixed with the idea that Bitcoin dominance is bouncing off a double all-time low bounce, and that would be the result we're getting. I was only expecting the strong move up last night during a VIP call on Discord after I busted my butt on my redoing my driveway surface. But anyway, we saw that swoopy pattern, which I have talked about on my channel earlier this week or late last week. And we saw that and we said, oh, shoot, it's going to go up at night. And it did. So I did not see this coming 2 or 3 days ago, but last night we could see it fairly clearly. So I'm going to also cover that at the end. I'm going to re-show you that swoopy pattern and how we played that on, on a higher leverage play. So let's first dive in to the stock market. And let me show you something real quick. I'm going to use the US 500 chart. And I'm going to go to the 8-hour chart. And I'm going to make this yellow line the daily 21 for you real quick. Take a look. This is the all-time high. And again, for newer viewers, Bitcoin follows this chart. It's extremely, extremely clear. This is the all-time high for the stock market. Fell below the yellow line, rallied up to it, a double failure. Let me zoom into this part so you can see it. Same yellow line on Bitcoin as the daily 21, all right? Fell way below it. The rally, this yellow line was the target. These are medium-sized bear market rallies. The large bear market rallies, which we just saw about, in the month of June or something, or June, July. Yeah, we saw in July. That went up to the daily 89 EMA. So historically in crypto and the stock market, super large rallies go up to the daily 89. Normal bear market rallies go up to the daily 21, as I'm showing you right now. Normal bear market rally, essentially a double failure pattern above the yellow line. All right. Another one is it dropped down. It rallied up for several days. What did it do? Failure pattern above the yellow line. Dropped. It really started accelerating down here. So this had a big drop in the stock market, or at least a fast one. Still 10% in 10 days. That's pretty aggressive. Where did it rally up to? Because this is a fairly strong rally for the stock market right here, right? So a rejection instead of a failure pattern above rejection at the daily 21. Aggressively moved down yet again. Down here, the stock market did, and it rallied up and did essentially a strong failure pattern above the daily 21. You see that? This could be what's about ready to happen. It could be, or it could be a small, so another one, accelerated down, rallied up, a normal failure. So failure pattern means you get above it, but when you come down to touch it, you break through, right? As opposed to getting straight up rejected, like this wick right here could not get above that yellow line. Let's zoom in. So this wick right here got, up to it and then a big sell-off the next day. That would be a rejection. Failure pattern goes above, but can't hold it breaks through the ice on its way down. All right, so now let's go to current price. We had a very large rally up that went above the daily 89 by 5%, historically perhaps the biggest in a bear market rally. Accelerated to the downside. So we just saw a bunch of cases where it accelerated to the downside, rallied up. There are 3 ways that it typically goes. One way, you can X out a rejection. Well, it's already a little bit above it. The other 2 ways is you have a small size or normal size failure pattern or a large failure pattern. So let's go copy and paste and see what that'll look like and the time frame of that happening. So let's get into it. because it's important to understand the time frame of a potential rally as well. And then right after this, I'm going to connect it to what that would look like on Bitcoin. So this was a stronger failure pattern. We're going to put this over here as one option on top of the daily 21. Something to this effect. The timing on this would be staying strong for another couple weeks, potentially. So that's option, that's in my opinion, one of the more bullish cases. Or you could have one of these, a double failure pattern. So just two normal size failure patterns, but you had a couple of them. And the tricky part about this is it's the time axis, right? Because crypto would be allowed to make gains for a different amount of time in this fashion. And this is also 12 days. So both of those were 12 days. All right. Now let's go look at some of the more classic type of failure patterns like this guy here. Went way below the yellow line, came up, normal, fairly classic failure pattern right there, but it still took several days. All right. So let's go here. Maybe if my Tradingview wants to start working. Move this guy over so you can see what this looks like. Something to this effect. And this would mean crypto could rock and roll through early next week, Monday, Tuesday. And this is what I'd be looking for on SPX. And so what you can do here is you can go down to the 15. Listen to what I'm about to say, especially new viewers. Okay, and returning viewers, this is the time to hit the thumbs up button. Leave me a quick emoji comment for me for the algo. And new viewers, go ahead and if you like what you're seeing right now, subscribe, hit the bell with all alerts so I can keep you in the know with where crypto's going. The links to the Discord are in the description section of all my videos. And then at Cosasverdes with the number 2 is my Twitter handle. And then the YouTube tiers, I described them in a fairly comical 90-second video. You just got to click the join button right below. And that 90-second video with skeletons and pirates and crap like that pops up and it tells you what you get, what that offers and what the difference is between that and Discord. All right. Now let's go to big. Actually, I said what I was about to say is really important. I'll get back to that once I remember. I apologize. All right, now let's get back to Bitcoin. Let's say this has 12 days of runtime. That could potentially take us to September, through most of September. If you see, now I remember what I was going to say. So we will go back on there. I was going to say, use that daily 21 with the small time frames. So this is actually good that I did this on Bitcoin. In order to judge how long crypto will have permission to run, you're going to want to look at this yellow line on SPX and how the 5 and 15 minute candles are interacting with that daily 21, because the pattern, whether crypto is going to go up, run for 12 days or 5 days, one of them was 4 days, the normal failure pattern, you're going to be able to tell by going, or you're going to have a strong hint on which option it'll be on the time axis, given the small candles interaction on the S&P 500. So let's go back to there. I apologize. Now I'm going to go to the 15-minute chart, but it's the same yellow line. So if you start seeing small candles go below, so these are all 15-minute candles. Hell, let's go to the 3-minute. If you start seeing 3-minute, even 3-minute candles, I'm telling you, below this yellow line, that means give me that thumbs up. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Hit the wrong button and I about pissed myself again because I had my headphones on. Sorry if that was too loud. That would mean there is a highly increased chance, it's like a severe increased chance right in that moment when 3-minute candles go below this line that the rally for Bitcoin and crypto is about over or is ending, right? It could, so if these candles go below in that moment wouldn't be necessarily the time to short. I'm not giving a short signal because the chance of it coming back up and doing a double, like a lower high above this yellow line is pretty high. And that could still give crypto another day or two to run. But if you see 3-minute candles go below this yellow line and use it as resistance, it'll probably make a lower low, swing above it, and give crypto 1 or 2 more days. That's your alert signal. Now, in similar but fairly in contrast to that, If you see a pullback, let me make myself small. And then again, this is the US 500 chart. Literally just type this into TradingView and hit enter. That's all you do. If you see really small candles come down to it during a pullback, and it could go below it a little bit. Let's say the 21's there, it goes below it, but when it comes back up, it does not use it as resistance and maybe even uses it as support, or comes down to it, see the yellow line, extend it, comes down to the yellow line, uses it as support, and then starts ticking up. That means crypto's about ready to make another leg up, which could mean higher local highs, right? Okay, so connecting all that, now let me go give you some targets specifically for Bitcoin. And then at the end, remember, I'm going to show you that swoopy pattern, how we, on Discord felt confident and longing with a higher leverage than on a momentum play, higher than what, I'm typically accustomed to. And it worked out beautifully. I woke up and closed my longs immediately because it was in a good amount of profit. On a percentage basis, like 400%. It was a good trade. But anyway, so I'll show you that at the end. So stay tuned. All right. On Bitcoin, I'm going to go to the 1 hour chart. And let's say that you get a double type of pattern on the stock market. And that could mean when the stock market comes down to hit that 21, Bitcoin also takes a breath and then allows the daily 21 to wrap it up, and then it could make a higher high when the stock market simply does an equal high or another failure pattern. So this could have a couple legs up. And this daily 21 right here, if I can extend it, I'm just going to draw on top of it like this. Bitcoin could start pulling back. And during the double failure pattern on a stock market, Bitcoin could outperform it because the Bitcoin dominance chart, see how Bitcoin on the right-hand side is up 10% and Ethereum is only up 5%, right? That is attributed to mostly Bitcoin dominance being confusingly low. And it just bounced off all-time lows. Let me zoom out so you can see this. That is not Bitcoin dominance. It might help to click the right chart. Oh, I clicked one too high. So look, this is all-time lows here. And it did on small time frames, a double bounce there and got back up to the cliff from which it fell. So let me zoom in so you can see that better. So now that you can see, here, look, zoom way out. See, all-time lows. I'm going to zoom into the recent price action. It fell off this macro horizontal like a cliff. On small time frames, you can see a double bottom, but I'm on the daily. And it just zoomed back up to touch the cliff, the breakdown, essentially the breakdown point, and it's honestly getting above it. But this is a spring from Bitcoin, right? This is definitely a Bitcoin-led rally. And the first half, the rally that we just had in July, August, I guess, was Ethereum-led. Now Bitcoin's clearly leading. Could this mean that Bitcoin slows down and then people start buying alts, then alts have another rally? That could be what it means. I'm focused on Bitcoin price right now, and I really don't know. It also could mean that alts stay behind Bitcoin, and when Bitcoin comes down, alts really get their butts kicked. I really can't extrapolate, solid guesses besides just main ideas, but I don't have a good probability of guess and exactly what it'll look like on altcoins. So let's go back to Bitcoin. Let's say, could this go higher? Well, the stock market is going to have to, really interact with that daily 21 and prove itself. But let's say we see the stock market do something on the daily 21 here that I'm going to go to the 1 hour chart. Let's say it proves itself. Let's say it hits this origin line. See this blue line? It's an origin line. I'm going to zoom in now. Let's say it hits its head on that blue line, bounces back to the daily 21, which is this yellow line, and then breaks that local high at that moment. So I don't think Bitcoin will simply keep going up beyond the target that I'm getting ready to give you on the stock market's first pass above this line. Am I being clear with that? I think it needs to touch that yellow line or get close to it, have a pullback, but get really close to that daily 21 and then break the first high it made as it zoomed above, which it's forming right now. It's forming a local high. Then it could come down, and once it breaks that local high right here, that's when crypto could then surpass the targets I'm getting ready to give you. But until that happens, I'm not going to be looking at 23, 24K Bitcoin quite yet. I want to see both those things happen. It forms a local high, uses this as support, breaks that local high. Okay, well then we're talking about the next targets up. But we got a while till that's going to happen. So for a more immediate term price, the price targets that I have based off the weekly candles and all that, and I'm on the 1 hour chart, is this right here. Because the reason why I don't think this has a chance to come straight down, unless it comes straight down to touch this 21 and then come up. So that could happen, but like ruin the whole rally. I don't think it comes straight up and all the way back down, because the 1 hour RSI historically, let me show you. When it gets up to the white zone, Bitcoin does not go straight down. It can have a strong pullback, but the RSI goes like this. And so this green line leaves this green zone. See how this is a green zone up here? It leaves the green zone and then goes one more time back up into this green zone. And that's typically either your highest high or damn close. And then you know, hey, the rally has a good chance of being over. But look how high it is. So that means that target that I just showed you is very likely going to be hit. So let me show you a few examples of this on the Bitcoin chart, just to show you that this doesn't, when this white line is hit, Bitcoin doesn't just go straight down. That's not how it works. It can have a strong tradable pullback, yes, but it's likely getting ready to it's going to make more highs. So actually, this is a fairly good example. So back on July 27th, it looks like, something like around here would be the highs of price, right? No. And I could tell just by looking at it, I didn't plan this. It left the green zone and made a strong, this isn't a rejection. It actually made a lower high in here, but this, either this point or this point was the top of this rally. I could tell just by looking at it. And so you're essentially waiting for this RSI to leave the green zone, and then either this one or this one was the top. And let me show you with some vertical lines. Put it on price, go back. Oh, nope, it was even later. It was one more after. So, but that's just to show you that we're about right here right now. So we have another move up left to go with an extremely high likelihood, right? And so did this first one. So this was see how the highest, here, let me expand this guy. See how the highest point on RSI here was this point on price. Do you see that? And then you have downward moving RSI, but upward moving price, essentially bearish divergence. So you need to form another way, you need to form bearish divergence before you slow down. It's particularly when the 1 hour RSI gets this high. I mean, more than halfway up in the green zone or touching the white, you need bearish divergence before it comes down. And again, you can have tradable pullbacks, yes, but for a short that you hold on to for days at a time, not a wise idea at all. All right, so that is a trick for you that honestly you might want to keep in your pocketbook forever, because it is a good and strong. It's a highly probable signal, and it helps you understand the length of the move and not get too excited. Trying to short into a big rally until the timing's right. It helps you time tops a hell of a lot better. And even though it's impossible to time tops over time, you can get it once or twice, in a blue moon or whatever. But it is among the best tools I've ever found to guide you to hunt tops, essentially, right? That 1 hour RSI trick that I just showed you. Now, the long and awaited, potentially, depending on your emotions for today, Friday, the swoopy pattern, and why we did a higher leverage play last night on the VIP chat on Discord. So let's dive in. We saw it on the 15-minute, and we were scratching our heads thinking, holy shit, this is going to go up at nighttime. Holy shit, it's going to go up at nighttime. And we longed on a red candle. Yeah, so it was about 9:30 when I was getting off, and when I logged, bam. So we saw this. So again, the swoopy pattern that I've covered a lot, you typically have some form of drop. It doesn't have to look like this, but you have a drop, right? And then you go up and you make some form of horizontal. And then the swoopy pattern happens. It just looks like this. It happens at the end of some type of horizontal, and it busts when it gets above the horizontal. But you usually have to have a fairly big drop, a recovery period that forms a horizontal. And then at the end of the horizontal, let me zoom in on this part, it almost always looks the same. And the reason why it looks the same is that the candles are small. It's low volatility. It's almost as if, and my theory behind this is, it's traditional finance's algorithms essentially chipping away at liquidity up top before it spikes through, because they already have their longs in, right? Because they're getting ready to buy on spot. And the algos know what their plan is. So their longs and futures are already set. So in order to make money on their longs, now they have to use raw dollars or Tether or whatever to buy on spot price across a few exchanges to bump price of Bitcoin. And then their longs that they've already established get in profit, right? So before that happens, either it's chipping away at liquidity slowly or to wear out the sellers, or my better guess is it's waiting for a moment. It's looking up. The algos are looking up at the order book, at all the sell orders, the red stuff, and it's calculating the exact precise, all the numbers changing, right? Like the matrix. It's trying to calculate an exact moment when the order book is the thinnest. And once it sees a hole in the fabric, it goes boom, and it buys Bitcoin, and boom. And so all of this stuff right here, is it just waiting? Order book's not thin. Order book's not thin enough. Order book's not thin enough. And that's why the candles are small, because they already have their long orders in, or their orders in on futures. They don't want it to go anywhere, right? But they also don't want it to go down because that would invite other sellers, right? Like attracting mosquitoes or attracting bees or something. You don't want to attract them. So this is the shape it makes, but the candles are small for whatever reason. Like it just stabilizes the buy-sell pressure on spot trade as to not invite anybody else, but also as to not spike up because the liquidity isn't right. That's my theory. Do I know this is true? No. I'm simply trying to think, how, if I were a whale, how would I want to optimize making money if I had over $100 million to do this with Bitcoin, right? So that's all we need to do to know that we're going to be in a profitable trade. Let's all put our money together, have $100 million, and let's go pick an altcoin like, Solana to move, and we can plan. And we can do this all day long. No, I'm just kidding. That is a joke, not financial advice. I'm not, I maybe shouldn't have said that. That was a joke, what I just said about Solana, and let's get $100 million together to manipulate the markets. But that is what's happening. And I think it's legal. I don't think this is illegal stuff anyway. So I didn't suggest anything. I didn't joke about anything illegal because big money has permission to buy and sell as well. So this is and you can see it at the end here, just zooming out, just swoopy pattern after a big drop, some type of horizontal made. And it's the small candles though. It's not just the shape. When you zoom in, I'm telling you this, just look out. And this happens on the 5-minute as well. It's the small candles. Because the algos I think they're looking up at the order book, right? And so we longed actually on this pullback here, and it filled some more of my orders. And then I woke up. It was like a 400% trade. Let's see here, 120. No, it was a 300. So it was a 4x. So it's a 300% trade. Yeah, I 4x'd my money on that. So it's only it's like a 320% trade that I took, and I woke up and closed it based off that swooping pattern. And I'm not a pattern trader, but man, this one, it gets momentum right quite a bit. And I've seen it fail a few times, but typically when it fails, it goes up first a little bit, and then you can get your stops at break even, and then you can be wrong for free. That sweep pattern is typically pretty solid stuff. So hopefully that was enough good information at the very end to keep you waiting. Click this video right here if you want futures trading tips. If you're new at futures, and this is a tip that can save you tons of money that you won't hear anywhere else, and click this playlist right here if you want to see some of the more most important videos I've ever made. You just got Timified Worldwide.